Yo, what's up with y'all boys and girls, man? Hey, it's Jay Briggs continuing to cook up some of this NFL, man. We are now in week 4. NFL season moving right along, man. Moving right along. I'm back talking it with my guys. I appreciate every last one of y'all tuning in, watching this video. Do me a favor, smash that like button for me, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. My best bets, the bets that I'm most comfortable with, the bets that I have the most money on, those are my premium bets. You can find those over at Pickdawgz Premium. There's a link in the description, but I'm finna go through every single game right here, right now. And we're gonna do this through the entire NFL season, all the way through the Super Bowl. So buckle up. Let's make some money on a Sunday, and let's go ahead and hop right in. All right, first game up, man. We got the Atlanta Falcons out on the road facing the Jacksonville Jaguars. Both teams are technically on the road as this game is across the pond. We're in London with it, man. I will say London is the home of the Jags, man. That's their home away from home. The Jags are really comfortable playing in London. They've played there damn near more than anybody. And they're actually going to stay there this week as they play the Bills next week in London as well. That's how comfortable Jacksonville is playing over there. They're like London's team, kind of. And I think they get a bounce back win here after dropping to the Texans last week. I'm not reading too much into it. I think the Jags are much better than what we've seen this season. Should be a nice bounce back spot for them across the pond where they're more comfortable. I just don't trust Atlanta traveling over there, not accustomed the same way the Jags are. I think the Jags get this one in the bounce back spot. I'm going to take them. I'm going to lay the 3. Next game up, we got the Miami Dolphins out on the road facing the Buffalo Bills. Interesting game we got here, man. Two of, I would say, the best teams in the AFC. I currently have the Miami Dolphins 3rd in my power rankings. I have the Buffalo Bills 6th. I understand why Buffalo's favorite. They're at home, but I'm taking the Dolphins in this one, plus the 3, plus the 2.5, maybe even on the money line. I know many people think that they're going to return to the means here in this one after the 70-point explosion last week, but I don't necessarily see that happening. Buffalo's defense hasn't been, all that impressive to me. They've been had in certain spots, and I think Miami will be able to move the football and score some points like we've seen them do all season. Tua, since he's been the starter for Miami, man, this team has won a ton of games. The main question for this Miami team, as I've said all season, is going to be, can they stay healthy? Can they keep their quarterback healthy? And if they can, I think they're going to win this division, and I'm taking them here against Buffalo out on the road. Next game up, man, we got the shit bowl, or at least that's what people have been calling it on social media all week, man. We got two 0-3 teams, also 0-3 ATS, man. These two teams have been struggling, but something's got to give here in this one, man. And as much as I hate wanting to lay points with the Broncos, I do believe that's the right side, so I am going to lean in that direction. I would not be mad if any of you just took the Broncos straight up on the money line, man. The Bears are terrible. The Bears have lost now 15 straight games. I'm not big on Justin Fields like I was coming into this season. I think the hype was way overhyped. And I think the Broncos are just an overall better football team. I think Sean Payton gets his first win with Denver. I think he coaches circles around Matt Eberflus, a guy who I don't think makes it through the entire regular season. I'm not touching the Bears. I probably won't touch them for the rest of this season. I think they're the worst team in the National Football League here in Week 4. Give me the Broncos. I'll lean and land the points with them here in this. Next game up, we got the Baltimore Ravens out on the road facing the Cleveland Browns. Both teams dealing with some significant injuries to watch rolling into Sunday. So at the time of recording this video, Deshaun Watson, questionable. David Njoku, questionable for the Browns. And for the Ravens, we know they were beat up last week. Lindenbaum, questionable. Humphrey looks like he's out. Marcus Williams, questionable. Kyle Hamilton, questionable. It's a lot of injuries in this football game. This is what I think, though. For right now, from the information that I have available, I'm going to take the Ravens, and I'm going to take them straight up on the money line. I think the Ravens are more equipped to overcome the injury discrepancy than the Browns. I just think this is a buy low spot on the Ravens, who lost at home to an inferior opponent last week in the Colts. And we saw the Browns beat up on a middle-of-the-pack team in the Tennessee Titans. The Browns, man, I just don't trust this team. I know they played well last week, but we still got to remember, no Nick Chubb. And now their quarterback has dealing with some severe shoulder pain. So if he goes think it's a fade. Even if DTR plays in his first NFL action in the regular season, I don't trust him in this spot against a legitimate Ravens team looking to avenge their loss from last week. I'm taking the Ravens. I like them plus the points. I wouldn't be surprised if they won this game outright either, so money line, not a bad place to be either. In our next game, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers out on the road facing the Houston Texans. Texans team got their first dub last week. But here in this one, I am going to lay the points with the Steelers. Earlier in the week on the NFL show with Mitch and Big Al McMorty, I was leaning towards the Texans. But since then, man, we now know that their offensive line is severely banged up for the Texans. And I don't think that bodes well having a rookie quarterback and with T.J. Watt and this Pittsburgh defense on the other side. I know C.J. Stroud has looked really good through these first few weeks, man, but I think this is a spot where we really see him struggle, man. I'm banking on Coach Mike Tomlin, dialing some stuff up defensively. This Pittsburgh defense that usually creates a lot of havoc, creates pressure, turns the other opposing quarterback over. I think that's the type game we see from C.J. Stroud and the Texans offensively in this one. I think when it's all said and done, the Pittsburgh Steelers stack yet another win, man, and improve to 3-1. I'm taking Pittsburgh. I got to fade the rookie quarterback with the banged-up offensive line against a dominant defensive line in the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think that's where this game is won and lost. Give me Pittsburgh. I'll lay the 3 on the road here in this one. Next game up, man, we got another battle of winless teams. We got the Minnesota Vikings laying now 4 on the Carolina Panthers out on the road, man. This is a tough one. Do I think the Vikings finally get on the board and win a football game? Yes. Do I feel comfortable laying 3, 3.5, or 4? Hell no. This team always plays really tightly contested games, and I see this probably going to be another one of them. I would look at grabbing the points with Carolina on a pure fade of the Minnesota Vikings, man. Until they go and cover a point spread, I would not look at laying the points with them. I also like the over in this football game. We know Minnesota is a high-scoring team. Their defense is their weakness. Their defense is absolutely abysmal. And I think Bryce Young or Andy Dalton will be able to move the football here in this game. We faded Andy Dalton last week, just a pure fade of him. We cashed it, but he didn't play that bad. He really didn't. Offensively, he played better than Bryce Young had played in those first 2 weeks. I think we can see Carolina put up some points if it's Andy Dalton here or if it's Bryce Young. Regardless, I think they can put up some points right along with Minnesota. I would lean in the direction of Carolina plus the 4. I would also look at taking an over between two teams who defensively I worry about. Next game up, we got the Los Angeles Rams out on the road facing the Indianapolis Colts, man. Colts with a statement win last week, beating the Ravens in Baltimore with their backup quarterback in Gardner Minshew, who I think is probably one of the best backups, if not the best backup quarterback in the league. But still, to do it without your main guy is pretty impressive. Anthony Richardson looks to be back here in this one, though. It looks like he'll get the start. And it's a completely different offense from a running quarterback, Anthony Richardson, and a pocket passer, Gardner Minshew. And I think the constant back and forth may create a little friction and a little problems here. I think that the Rams win this football game. Is this my favorite game on the card? It's not. I think this is going to be a super competitive game, probably going to come down to the end. But I just trust the veterans over on the Rams sides more than I trust the young side for the Colts, man. We got Sean McVay, veteran head coach, Super Bowl winning head coach. We got Matthew Stafford, Super Bowl winning head coach. Super Bowl winning quarterback. Been there, done that. And I think that veteran experience is what's going to propel them to a win late in this one. I think Anthony Richardson probably throws an ugly pick late, and it probably costs the Colts. This is what the Colts do. They have a huge win one week. You look to take them the next week, and they usually fall flat on their face. I think they fall flat here this week. I'm taking the Rams on the road, straight up on the money line, as I think they get this one done in Indy. In our next matchup, man, we got the Tampa Bay Bucks visiting the Superdome, man. We got the Saints laying 3.5 at the crib. The Saints have just kicked the crap out of the Bucks, man. Brady, Winston, whoever. The Saints just always kick the crap out of the Bucks. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. I know that Derek Carr was banged up last week, but it looks like he's going to play this week. And even if he doesn't, if it is Jameis Winston, I'm higher on Jameis than a lot of other people, man. I think the Saints do win this game comfortably. I'm looking at a 24-20 win for New Orleans. I know that's razor sharp, barely above the number, but I think that's the type game we're looking at. I do think the Bucks compete. I think the Saints win it in the end, 24-20 New Orleans. I'm going to look at laying the points with the Saints, man. I think Baker Mayfield struggles against his defensive line for the New Orleans Saints, man. Kind of like the Eagles had him looking last week. Solid season thus far for Baker, but I'm expecting a little regression. I'm taking New Orleans at the crib. I think they continue to beat up on the Tampa Bay Bucks, kind of like they always do. Here in this one. Next game up, we got the Washington Commanders out on the road facing the Philadelphia Eagles, man. Interesting game we got here, divisional game. These two teams are built to play one another. I currently have the Eagles as one of the 5 best teams in the National Football League. They're at 4 currently on my power rankings list. And I do think they win this football game. I do think they're better than the Commanders, but I would not want to lay 8 points, man. I think the Commanders plus the points is the right side. Hell, we saw the Commanders go into Philly and beat them boys straight up on the money line last year. I don't necessarily see that happening, but I do think they can replicate some of the things that they found success in last year. They're a little healthier this year. I think they're better offensively with Eric Bieniemy, Sam Howell, a few more games under his belt. I think they compete here, man. I really do. And I'm going to take them plus the points. Eagles win. Commanders cover. That's how I think this one shakes out. We got the Cincinnati Bengals out on the road facing the Tennessee Titans. Both teams coming here 1-2 to begin the year. I'm on Cincinnati here. I think they're head and shoulders a better football team. I don't think they're the team we've seen through 3 weeks. I think their quarterback was banged up, the second best quarterback in the National Football League, and he's just now starting to get his legs underneath him. We saw the Cincinnati Bengals start off really slow last year, and we know how they ended the season, man. Absolutely covering damn near everything, running through everything in their path. And I think we're starting to see the beginnings of that here this year, man. I'm taking the Bengals. I think they beat up on the Titans. Everything that I saw from the Titans last week was discouraging. It really was. Derrick Henry only had 20 rushing yards. This offensive line is not the same offensive line of years past. Ryan Tannehill, I think he's on the back end of his career. And defensively, the Titans aren't that good, man. This is not the Titans team I thought coming into the season. I see the Bengals getting a much-needed win, getting back to 500. Give me Cincinnati. Give me Joe Shiesty, and Jamar Chase and crew here in this one. I'll lay the points. Next game up, we got the Las Vegas Raiders out on the road facing the Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers laying now 6 points, I'm saying. I'm going to be honest. I think the Chargers win. I don't want to lay the points of the Chargers. The Chargers are eerie similar to the Minnesota Vikings. They just play down to their competition. Even when they're the better team, laying points with them, you just get that nauseating feeling late in the game. Like, oh, they're not going to cover. And I kind of got that feeling for this game here. So I'm going to look at the total. I like the over here. I know Jimmy Garoppolo probably won't play for the Raiders. So we're either going to get Brian Hoyer or Aiden O'Connell. I think if it's Aiden O'Connell, the Raiders definitely will be able to score points. I like that young kid, man. I really, really do. I hope he's the starter. If he's the starter, I'm going to grab the points with the Raiders as well. If it's Hoyer, I'm going to just leave this game alone altogether. I don't want to be betting on Hoyer to score me points. So, tough game. Not enough information for me to have a solid play currently at this exact moment. I want to see what's up with Garoppolo. If he doesn't play, I want to see if it's Hoyer or O'Connell. If it's O'Connell, I like the Raiders plus the 5.5, and I like the over. If it's Hoyer, I would probably look in the direction of the Chargers. So that's how I'm going to break this one down. I'm sorry I couldn't give y'all the best information. I don't like every game on the card every week. I just try to come on here and give y'all the best information, and that's what I got for this one. I hope it's O'Connell. If it's O'Connell, I'm taking the Raiders plus the 5.5. I really like that young kid. We made a ton of money betting him in the preseason, and I think some of that can translate into the NFL. So that's my thoughts on Chargers. Raiders. Next game up, we got the New England Patriots out on the road facing my favorite team, the Dallas Cowboys, man. Yes, the Cowboys lost to the Arizona Cardinals last week. It was a pretty bad loss. Last week, in my power rankings, I had the Cardinals 32, I had the Dallas Cowboys 1. I know, but it's the reality of the situation. Now, the Cardinals are no longer the worst team in the NFL, and the Cowboys are no longer in that 1 spot. I got them in the 5 spot. Dropped them 5 spots. You can't lose to the Cardinals like that, man. Not with a defense like you have like this. But I think it bodes well and sets up well for the Cowboys to come back here in this football game and bounce back at home. I want you guys to go pull up the Dallas Cowboys home record over the last 2 seasons. They go stupid, dummy, crazy at the crib. If you follow my NBA Jam session, they remind me kind of like the Denver Nuggets at home. When they're at home, they always show up, show out. I think they show up, show out here. I think this defense gets back to being that same fast attacking defense we saw in week 1, week 2. I think that causes severe problems for Mac Jones and this offense. I think the Cowboys win. I think the Cowboys win big here. But the one player prop that I definitely will be on, my favorite prop of the day, I'm taking Ezekiel Elliott to score a touchdown versus his old team, man. I love me some Zeke. I'm going to be cheering like hell for him to score at least once. The building's going to go crazy if he does. I think they're doing a tribute video for him before the game. He deserves it. So, in the grand scheme of things, I think the Cowboys are just head and shoulders better than this Patriots team. I think they bounce back at home. But I do think Ezekiel Elliott could probably get in there one time for the one time. So I'm going to take him anytime touchdown. But Dallas laying the points, definitely. They should bounce back and beat up on the New England Patriots at the crib. Next game up, we got the Arizona Cardinals out on the road facing the San Francisco 49ers, man. This Niners team's legit. I have now moved the San Francisco 49ers to number 1 in my power rankings. What we've seen thus far in this season through 3 weeks, I think the Niners are the best team in the National Football League. I like how they're playing complementary football, and they've been dominant here at home. The problem is 14 points is a lot of lumber to lay, especially a lot of lumber to lay on a team that's 3-0 ATS like the Cardinals are. I'm going to take the Cardinals plus the 14 points, man. We got to give them some credit where credit is due. I think they have had a lead at halftime in all 3 games. This Cardinals team has competed thus far this season. This is a divisional opponent, so are the Niners the much better football team? Yes, they are. Yes, they are. They're damn near better at every single position on the field. But laying 14 is a lot of lumber to lay, man. I'm going to grab the points with the Cardinals. I think the Niners win comfortably. The Niners win big, but I see this as a 10 to 13-point win for San Francisco. I think the Cardinals can sneak in that back door, get another sneaky cover, move to 4-0 ATS. I'm going to take the Cardinals plus the 14. I just think that's too many points to be laying on a team that's been scrappy all season. All right, Sunday Night Football, man. We got the Kansas City Chiefs out on the road facing the New York Jets. Kansas City laying 9.5. Now, as I always say, I don't like laying double digits in the NFL. I just don't. But Sunday Night Football, standalone game, I cannot, in good faith, sit here with a straight face and tell you guys to take Zach Wilson. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't. I'm on the Chiefs. I'm laying the 9.5. The Chiefs laying double digits is not the most profitable of spots. It's actually a pretty bad spot going back the last couple of seasons. Bad teams step up and play hard all the time. All the time. The Cardinals beat the Cowboys straight up last week. The Texans beat the Jags. The Colts beat the Ravens. It happens all the time. And I would not be surprised if the Jets did stand up and cover this point spread, but I can't. My money's going on Patrick Mahomes. I heard rumors T. Swift might be back in the building again. Pump up this Chiefs team. Pump up Kelsey. Is this a sucker bet, laying the points with the Chiefs? It might be. Is the right side probably grabbing the points with a scrappy Jets team with a good defense? Probably. But can I, in good faith, have my money on Zach Wilson in a standalone game against Patrick Mahomes? I can't. Sorry, I can't. Is this my favorite game on the card? Not by far. But I'm on the Chiefs, standalone game. I'm gonna have some money on them. That's what I like, man. So short, sweet, simple. I'm shooting straight with y'all. Give me Kansas City. I'm gonna lay the points. And last game of the week, Monday Night Football. We got the Seattle Seahawks out on the road facing the New York Giants. This one is short, sweet, and simple. I am all over the Seattle Seahawks here in this one. If this game wasn't on Monday, I'm gonna be honest, it probably would be my play of the weekend. And here's why. Daniel Jones, primetime, straight fade. He's hot garbage. He's hot ass. Terrible. Short, sweet, and simple. Daniel Jones in primetime in his career is the worst quarterback with more than 10 starts. He's 1-11. He's only won 1 game in primetime. 1! And now he's favored. Come on now. And why? Why? Tell me. I want one of you New York Giants fans to give me a legitimate reason why the Giants are favored here in this football game. Because I can come up with 0. Not 1. Taking the Seahawks, taking them straight up on the money line. I don't like Gino like that either, but I think Gino's better than Danny Dimes. I trust Clappy. We call it Clappy. Clappy is Pete Carroll. He always clapping on the sideline, chewing that gum. I'm taking them, man. It's a pure fade of Daniel Jones. 1-11. 1-11 in prime time, man. If you don't believe me, go look it up. Go look it up. Makes no sense the Giants are favored. I'm all over Seattle. And that's going to conclude this episode, man. I hope y'all enjoyed. I tried to get us in and out of here, man. Just try to give y'all quick thoughts. If you want a more in-depth breakdown of some of these games, you can go back and watch the NFL show I shot earlier in the week with me, Mitch, and Big Al McMorty. We went through every game, and you can hear not only my opinion, but both of those guys' opinions as well. So if you want a little more in-depth, you can go watch that video. But I broke it down right here, right now for y'all, man. I think I gave y'all all the information y'all need to be successful, to make some money this weekend, man. Let's do just that. Remember, my best bets are over at Pickdawgz Premium. Those are the bets that I got the most money on and the bets that I feel most comfortable with. So if you want to rock with me over at Pickdawgz Premium. It's been your guy, Jay Briggs, man. I'll see y'all boys in the morning. Let's make some money, man. I'm out of here. Peace.